Alright, this is part 2 of our blueberry homebrew cream ale. Alright, in a previous video we showed the distilled water, we added the malt and along with the malt syrup. It's already boiled and foamed. You bring it down off the heat and bring it back up to a boil and she won't foam anymore. Well, she shouldn't. If it does and it boils again and starts foaming, you just remove it from the heat and keep on doing it until it stops foaming. So the two hops that we were using was German Traditions. This one is alpha 6.9%, so we're using this at the end mostly for aroma, and that's actually the little bit that's left. It's just little hop pellets. I can zoom in. There we go. They smell wonderful. I didn't go with the leafy because I didn't feel like making a cheesecloth basket per se. And then the other hop we used was US Fugel. It's alpha 4.2, so we use this one at the beginning of the cooking process for the bitterness. Alright. Again, we're also going to be using this Brewcraft Blueberry Extract. It's really good stuff, smells wonderful. And this Brewcraft Lactose, 4 ounces of this to give it the creamy flavor. Should turn out really good. Alright, we're going to now add the rest of these. Wife's going to stir it up in there real good. We decided to go with the dry yeast instead of the liquid. One, it's simpler. Two, it's a pretty simple batch of beer. We haven't added a whole lot of syrup or sugar. So what I found with other beers that I brewed, like the last batch that we brewed, I tripled up on the malt sugar and added some other stuff, and I just wasn't too convinced that the dry yeast would do its job, so I used the liquid. So, but for this simple brew, dry yeast should be just fine. We got our True Brew fermenting 5-gallon bucket. It's also got here on the side, and it'll show like lager or an ale. We got our carboy along with our carbonation and our 5-gallon keg that we just picked up today. A nice little regulator from a local brewing company that sells all different types of wine, cheese, and beer making supplies. Right now we're going to add a little bit of the blueberry, about a quarter of the bottle. So I'm going to hand the camera over to my wife. Erica, will you? There we go. And they said with this stuff you can add it during the cooking process or before the bottling process. I'm going to do a little bit of both. I'm going to add about a quarter of this vial right now and a little bit more at the end if I want a stronger blueberry taste. It's really potent. I tried a little bit and it makes you pucker up pretty good. So I'm just going to add about a quarter of that. There we go. Maybe a little bit more than a quarter, but that's fine. It's starting to give it a really nice blueberry smell. And I'm going to add a little bit of the lactose right now, and a little towards the end when we put it in the keg, because it's just like the blueberry stuff. You can do either or. This is going to give a nice creamy flavor. The guy at the brewing store said that lactose that Brewcraft makes is pretty close to what Sam Adams uses in their cream stouts. You give it a nice body and give it a nice little hearty flavor and filling to the beer. I'm going to let that boil for about 5 minutes. That will bring the total cooking time right to about an hour. So I'm going to go ahead and add the water here to this, halfway full. Get the bucket all set up. Again, everything was cleaned with Seabright cleanser. Really important when you're brewing or making wine or even cheese, that everything is super clean. That way you don't get any bacteria when you brew, any botulism or anything like that. They sell little brewing kits at many different stores. You can buy them online too. And I'm going to pan over here. Here's the basic brewing kit. I'm going to turn it over. Right there, called True Brew Gold Kit. Basically comes with everything you need to get started brewing. We're kind of past this now. That's why we went over to the keg and forced carbonation. But this is a really cool little beginner's kit. It costs about 60 bucks. It comes with the fermenting bucket, lid, the perk, along with the carboy, and a little booklet of recipes and how to start brewing your own beer. Alright. So, while that's brewing over there on the stove, boiling away, I'm going to plug in the recorder. Battery says it's getting a little low. There we go. Alright, so now that we got that, here's that beer that we made last time. Let me zoom in here. Nice hefty little dark beer, nice ale, good full body, a little on the bitter side. I personally like the bitterness. The wife doesn't too much though, but it's a good solid beer. That's a brew that we tripled up on all the sugar and malts that we use the liquid yeast with. Turned out really good. Total time took to brew to carbonation and settle time was about a month and a half. So it's a pretty good little beer. Alright, so that should be done boiling. I'm going to give the recorder again to my wife, Erica. Alright, now that the cooking process is done, I'll grab my 4 gallons of distilled clean water, and I'm going to grab my wort here, turn it off. Smells great. I'm just going to carefully pour in the beer, or in the water I mean. Alright. Gonna stir that in there real good. And and add the rest of the lactose. Go. Stir it up again real quick to get that lactose all mixed in. It's giving a nice creamy look to it. Very good. If you want to come take a look at the beer. So technically this is a beer. Obviously it hasn't fermented yet. I'm going to pour the yeast on it right now. Just going to sprinkle it on the top. Cut it open here. Just going to sprinkle on the top. And there's many ways to brew beer, even with bread. I know a buddy of mine, he uses rye bread a lot to make his beer. I haven't tried it yet, I'm looking forward to it. But I just sprinkle my yeast on top like that. Stick the lid on. Make sure it's sealed up real good. Move this over to a leveler. Alright, stick the perk back in there. I'm going to let this set for 2 weeks. Don't break the seal. A lot of recipes say sit for about a week, but I've seen that 2 weeks is pretty good. It lets everything ferment real good and make sure the yeast did its job. Again, here in 2 weeks, when I pop this open to rack and filter and everything, I'm going to give it a quick taste, and if I think it needs some more blueberry flavoring, I'll add some at that time. It doesn't have to be cooked. But I will see you here in 2 weeks while I open this up and see what we have. Thank you for viewing.